It's been a minute. It's been like a year. Hey guys, my name is Annabelle and today we are going to be talking about how to do recruitment through Zoom and through an online platform of some sort. I know it's been a while since the last video, but I figured, hey, you know, recruitment time of year again. So I go to the University of Missouri, and for us, recruitment is completely online. You might have a hybrid model where some rounds are online, some rounds are in person. For us here, it's all online. So I wanted to give you guys just like some tips and tricks for managing, standing out, doing well, all that jazz in this online form, because you know, it is different. It's very different to how it's done in the past. It's different than how people usually interact with one another in a day-to-day basis. I do have a little bit of a background with having to be on camera and, you know, talking to a camera like it's your friend, because I'm a reporter and anchor for a station here. Dash me, looking all professional and whatnot. You know, I just wanted to let you guys kind of in on some of the tips and tricks that I have when I'm working out at the station, and also just kind of how to do this whole thing. So I've kind of split it up into the technical aspects of like how to set up the camera, how to get good lighting, that kind of thing. And then we're gonna also talk about what to wear and also talking points, or how to convey that message through this new kind of face-to-face that's not face-to-face, it's like screen-to-screen. So we'll get into that as well, so let's get started. Okay, so first, pick a good background. So the background I have behind me, I'm just chilling in my room. I just got like lamps and pictures, that kind of thing. But I'm not laying in my bed, obviously. Please, for the love of everything good, do not lay in your bed. That just makes you look lazy, makes it look like you couldn't get out of bed for recruitment. Have a backdrop that's relatively neutral. Now, lighting is super important for it to actually show your face. I just show you. And I turn like this. You see, my face is not lit. You can see my embarrassing pillow pet right there. I'm 21 years old with a pillow pet still. Okay, it's fine. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now you can see I'm well lit, you know, you can see my face. And also try to have natural lighting. Natural lighting is gonna look the best on you. Most overhead lights are gonna create shadows and create shadows down here. And those of you that are really into taking pictures and all that, you probably know this kind of thing. But it works the same way in video as it does in photos. So you'll want the light that way coming in onto you. Light, camera, video, recording device, something, you. Another thing is to use headphones when you're doing online recruitment. So that way it's less likely that the ambient sound or sounds in your room that could be distracting during a conversation, those won't be in there as much. So besides lighting, I would say the other thing that is unbelievably important is have whatever you're filming yourself on at eye level. Because, you know, if I'm talking down here, I kind of look like I'm looking down on you. And if I'm talking up here, then I look weird because I'm looking up so much. Now, those are dramatic examples. This is the normal way that you have a conversation when you're looking at somebody. And so you want the camera to be at that level of like if you were talking to a person, you know, because you still are. Okay, now as for where to look during these conversations through Zoom or some other platform like that, try and look at that little camera on the top of your laptop when you're speaking, because that way it looks like you're actually looking at them. And then when they're speaking, you can look, I personally think you can look at them. So your eyes might be a little bit more down, but I think personally that's okay. We all understand. Definitely have the picture full frame, have the Zoom full frame. So that way maybe when you're still looking at that dot on your computer, you can still see in your peripheral the person who's talking. If you can look at the dot the whole time or most of the time, I would do that just because that is what's going to still feel like you're actually looking at them. Yeah, and as for the eye level bit, this is the kicker. So I just got a new dog actually. Her name is Lily. She's the best thing ever. And I'm using her dog food container to set up my camera on my bed, because that way it's actually at eye level, is the perfect height. Who knew? Honestly, you just find random stuff laying around your room and just stack it up however you can. I'm staring at some dog food right now. It's pretty good. Okay, so now let's talk clothing. So I know that is a big stressor point for so many people who go through recruitment. Now, I'm gonna walk you through just some of the tips that I have from being on camera for news. So this is not an absolute, you must do this. This is just stuff that I've learned looks good on camera and have been told looks good on camera. Okay, so this tone of top that I'm wearing, this light blue, this is a really good, honestly, this is like a really good tone to be wearing on camera because it's a set shade. It's not big distracting patterns. It doesn't have like big sleeves. Anything like that can look a little distracting when you're on camera. So I would recommend wearing earth tones, jewel tones, that sort of thing. Stay away from white, like pure white, because if you're by a window, you actually become more of a reflector. Black you can get away with. Creams are okay, but it's just when you become a human reflector based off of your top, and you don't want to do that. Spaghetti straps are really thin straps. Be careful of that, because sometimes if your camera isn't angled correctly, you might actually look semi-naked perchance, and you don't want to do that. So make sure whatever you have has a thicker strap, or maybe like a cut sleeve, kind of like here, just some indication that, you know, you got a top on. Something else I've been told is dress completely for the day. Put on some good shoes, put on some pants that you really like. You kind of feel more into it, you kind of feel more engaged. So if that's something that helps you or could help you, give it a whirl. So clarifying for this next tip. This one comes completely from news. I do not know if sororities will care about this one at all, but try to have your hair down if you can. For some reason when you're in person, when you turn, you can see like a little bit of a ponytail or something like that, and it gives you just more indication of hair. But if I were to pull my hair back, this is how my face looks. I have really short hair, so I have just like a little tiny thing, so I definitely would not do that for me. But for you guys, I would just say if you can have your hair down, have it down. That way it just looks a little bit more natural to how you look in real person. Makeup. I am not telling you you have to wear makeup by any means. Absolutely not. If you don't want to wear makeup, if that's how you're most comfortable, if that's like your most natural self is not wearing a lot of makeup, don't do it. Ignore this tip, okay? Now for the girls who do wear makeup, who do like wearing makeup and popping off a little bit, here's some tips. Okay, when you're on camera, it will wash you out just a bit more. I mean, naturally, when you're in person face to face, you just see the definition of people's facial features more, their makeup more, and so for when you're on camera, you actually want to go in a little bit more with blush. I mean, my cheeks, they colored, baby. You really want to go in and kind of color in with blush a little bit more, and pick a stronger lip color than you might normally. I know some girls don't wear lipstick ever. That's fine if you don't want to, 100%. Don't do it. If you do wear lipstick, go with a little bit more of a vibrant shade, or like just a more defined shade, because that way it'll pick up better. You can go heavier with your makeup and it won't look as heavy as it does in person as it will on camera. Also, if you hear chomping, let me show you my dog. My dog, she is going so hard right now on this bone of hers. Hi, baby. What are you doing? That's Lily. I love my little puppy. I feel obligated every single time that I talk about my dog that I have to show her. I'm like that person that's like, oh my god, I got a new dog. Here's a picture, take a look, you know? Now actually focusing in. Talking points. I know COVID has been impactful to all of us in a variety of different ways. In your family, within your relationships, within your personal self, that COVID has impacted you. Don't be afraid to talk about those things if it's really impactful and that's something you want to share, but still focus on the things that are important to you, maybe before quarantine or before stay-at-home orders, or before this summer messed up all of those plans. You know, like there's other aspects of your life that have still been really influential to who you are, and don't let this one circumstance that we've all experienced together, because I know that's like a common factor, you know, you can relate to somebody about that because we all went through it and we're all still going through it. But just make sure you still share those other parts about yourself. And also with this new online recruitment style, the emphasis is not so much on the environment. So prior to the pandemic, recruitment was really based on, you know, you walk into a house, how do you feel? What is the energy? Do you see the girls connecting with one another? That sort of thing. For this, it's really conversation based. So be sure to share those stories about yourself. Be sure to share those details about why you are the way you are, what you're passionate about, you know, what you're excited about going into college. And if you're a sophomore, what your freshman year was like, what are the things you enjoyed, what are the other things you hope to gain out of your college experience, you know? So those details and those facets of the conversation are really important. And also don't be afraid to ask questions of the people you're talking to, because that's gonna be really your main indicator of the house that you may be joining. You know, what is your sisterhood like? How is your sisterhood different from the other sororities on campus, because you want to learn about these differences and you won't have the visual cues as much anymore to figure that out. So definitely ask questions. Can you hear my AC that just turned on? Well, guess I'm gonna turn that off. It's about to get real toasty. There will be situations where there might be two new people talking to people in the sorority, so it's more of a group conversation. Please do not try to talk over the other girl or feel like it's a competition. You're joining a sisterhood, right? It means how you communicate with other people is so important. So if you're constantly talking over the other person that's rushing, then you kind of get a sense, the girls who are already in the sorority kind of get a sense that maybe you would talk over them or talk over everybody else. So make sure that you do insert yourself and you do share things, or maybe if you haven't had a chance to talk in a little bit, ask a question, but just make sure to not try and over talk everybody. And also, just to emphasize again, the other people that might be in the same group as you, they are not your competition. They're even potentially your future sisters, you know? So just make sure that you don't get that mindset of this is an interview and like we're both vying for the same spot, because you're not. Every sorority accepts so many people into it. Try and switch that mentality from this being an interview that you need to get the spot into something that's more of, you know, I'm just having a good conversation with these people to figure out if this is the right environment that I would want to be in. It's kind of nice though that you get to see the interaction between the people who are actually in the sorority. So you see the actual members and how maybe they interact. So maybe take note of that and kind of keep in mind, how did they interact with one another? Also, this honestly is such a benefit to having online recruitment. People's names are on their screen. So in conversation, it's so easy to be like, oh, by the way, Annabelle, you did blah, blah, blah. Or Annabelle, what's it like in your sorority? You know, you can use their name repeatedly and it makes you seem more friendly, more interested, more engaged because you're using my name. The other member, you can just pass that question along to them and be like, and so, Georgia? I don't have a Georgia in my sorority. But you can ask the other girl and say her name, and that just makes it a little bit more of a personalized experience. All right, and lastly, guys, body language is still so important. Don't be afraid to talk with your hands or move your head. In conversation, you look away. You don't stare directly at the screen the entire time. Sure, if you're asking a question, yeah, you're gonna stare at the screen. You're not gonna ask a question doing this. But when you're recounting a story or you're retelling something, you look away, you think, you pause, you look up. Don't feel so stiff that you have to like sit like this the entire time and not move. You know, like you can move around, you'll talk more naturally, you'll come across more natural, and you'll just be more your authentic self instead of this Zoom face. I'm really excited for all of you going into this journey. You know, I'm excited as well to talk to some potential new members this week and figure out how this is gonna work online. Changing of times, but it's still gonna be good conversations and hopefully good connections, which will then help you make the decision of which sorority is the one you want to pick. If you have any questions, comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate it. I'm going to be doing more videos, so you'll be seeing me again. This isn't the last time for another year, I promise. So thanks for watching, you guys, and again, let me know if you have any questions, and have a great recruitment.